They say the past never forgets. But no one ever warns you how it waits, watches, and whispers your name when you least expect it. Amara used to be someone. A rising mind in biotech, with the future at her fingertips and a world-changing vision waiting for the right stage. But when she married Eric, a man cloaked in government shadows, everything changed. She thought she was building a life. What she was really building was a cage. Eric had once been her greatest supporter. A sharp, charismatic operative working under a classified U.S. intelligence division, one that specialized in biotech warfare deterrence. Or so he said. Before he was a shadow in the intelligence community, Eric had been a soldier, a decorated field agent turned strategist. War had carved out his empathy and filled the hollow with purpose. When he met Amara, he saw in her brilliance a tool that could end future wars before they began. At least, that's what he told her. To Amara, he was a man who listened, who dreamed, who believed. But underneath, Eric believed peace was something to be engineered, and her research was the blueprint. He wooed her with charm, intellect, and opportunity. He was the one who introduced her to the DARPA-linked think tank. He convinced her that her prenatal genome enhancement models could eradicate hereditary disease. It wasn't until months after they were married that she realized the truth. Her research had been twisted into something darker, a program called Project Helix. Project Helix wasn't about curing disease. It was about designing children. Training them before birth. Pre-selecting traits like aggression, pain tolerance, obedience. They were building soldiers. Weapons with heartbeats. Eric wasn't just aware of Project Helix, he was the architect of its implementation. He fed her research to the program's directors, disguising it as hypothetical modeling while quietly signing off on early-phase trials. Amara hadn't just fallen in love with a liar. She had married the program itself. It began with files she was never meant to see. Names. Numbers. Birth dates of unborn children, including hers. That was the night she disappeared. Her baby still growing inside her, her career left behind like a burning city in her rearview mirror. She would not let her son be born into a program she had unknowingly helped create. For 2 years, she hid in a dusty border town. A waitress by day, a ghost by night. The only light in her life was Jalen, 2 years old now, wide-eyed and joyful, his favorite lion plush never far from his tiny hands. Amara lived quiet. She lived afraid. But she lived. Until they found her. The black SUV parked near her house 3 days in a row was the first sign. The chilling voice on her burner phone was the second. You've had enough time to say goodbye. No name. No threat. Just a promise. She tore open the walls that night. Pulled out cash, a map, and documents soaked in lies. The lion plush glowed red under her scanner, they'd put a tracker in it. Her hands trembled as she pulled it apart and burned the pieces. She packed what she could, placed her son gently in his car seat, and drove into the night. Every mile felt stolen. Every shadow could be a drone. Every checkpoint might end them. But she kept going. Not for herself. For Jalen. She remembered her old life as the miles passed. The lab. The white coat. Eric's promises. The hollow look in his eyes. She remembered the arguments, the nights he stared at ultrasound prints like blueprints. The way he called their unborn son the first of a new generation. She remembered the one time he cried, not out of guilt, but out of frustration that she didn't see the future the way he did. She remembered when she first learned what they had done with her research, modified DNA, prenatal enhancements, child soldiers in cribs. Her name forged on approvals. Her genius turned to horror. But she had one hope. An old friend. Dr. Levi Ngoma, a brilliant exile who had helped her escape the first time. He could make them disappear forever, give Jalen a new identity. But he needed 3 days. 3 impossible days. On the first day, she evaded a roadblock by cutting through an abandoned canyon trail. Dust poured through every crack in the car. The GPS failed. She trusted her instincts, her memory, and the silence of the night. She slept in the car that night, Jalen tucked beneath a pile of blankets. The stars above her whispered fears she didn't dare speak aloud. In her dreams, she saw Eric's face. Cold. Calculating. Disappointed. She woke up gasping. On the second day, a bounty hunter tracked her to a roadside motel outside Phoenix. He had a fake badge, a real gun, and dead eyes. She set off the gas alarm, used the confusion to knock him out cold with a fire extinguisher, and fled before the cops arrived. On the third day, she tried to cross an old military airstrip where Levi had left a contact to help her fly out. It was a trap. She was shot in the arm as she ran, her blood staining Jalen's jacket. But she didn't stop. She commandeered a maintenance jeep and rammed the barricade open, flames licking the back tires as they escaped. Love, she realized, wasn't always gentle. Sometimes it was violent. Relentless. Unforgiving. By the fourth night, they reached the cliffs near the Baja coastline. There was supposed to be a boat. Instead, there were helicopters circling, spotlights slicing through the darkness like knives. Jalen cried. She held him close. She didn't beg. She didn't scream. She stood tall. Because even if she died, she would not let them take him. But help came. At the last moment, Levi's people, former spies and defectors who owed Amara more than loyalty, staged their deaths. A fiery explosion erupted near the edge of the cliff. A drone broadcasted footage of the wreck. No bodies. No trace. To the world, Amara was dead. To Jalen, she was reborn. Months later, in a quiet fishing village on the coast of Mozambique, Amara wore a head wrap and sold herbal remedies at the market. Jalen played soccer with the local children. His laugh echoed between the houses. Her arm still bore the scar, but her soul had begun to heal. Sometimes at night, she would stare out over the water, lion plush stitched anew in her hands, thinking about who she used to be. About how much she gave up. And about how far she'd gone, not to run, but to protect. To rewrite a destiny written by others. One night, she sent a message. Encrypted. Anonymous. To the only inbox that would understand. I know what you're still doing. I know the project lives. I will be watching. This time, it's your turn to run. The next morning, she smiled as Jalen handed her a flower and asked her to race him home. This was the story of a woman who outran giants, burned bridges with her own hands, and carved a path through fire, not to escape, but to protect what was hers. Miles to mercy. And not a single one wasted.